in the scripture. In the book of Psalms, it says, "My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were written all the days that were ordained for me before there was yet one of them." The scripture shows us that life is like a book by which God authors life and reality. And in reality, when one is reading a book, they need context to be able to interpret the facts of the book coherently and intelligibly. The following biblical argumentation will demonstrate that without the Christian God of the Bible, you can't have one singular truth value to one singular fact reference without him as ultimate context. The line of analysis that I'm presenting cannot be avoided. It cannot be refuted. It is ironclad. One cannot deny within their system that something is fundamentally ultimate or absolute because it's suicidal philosophically. To either deny or not accept that there is something that is ultimate, because if you don't accept that something is absolute or ultimate, then your facts have no final or foundational intelligibility. So in other words, it makes no difference whether I say an apple is an apple because of, I don't know, which would be unintelligible versus I give you a chain link of 10 explanations, and then when I get to the 10th explanation, I say, well, I don't know. It makes no difference. Both presentations of apple are unintelligible, semantically apprehendable, but metaphysically, they don't have intelligibility. That is because what is being invoked doesn't depend upon anything. And you see, this is what I'm getting at in the Christian apologetic that the God of the Bible has categorically revealed, that without him, nothing can exist, and that includes intelligibility. And so, when the unbeliever maintains that he can present one or more facts that are in themselves intelligible without reference to God, that's where we have them. Because if they're going to claim that they have to have a good reason to believe in God, the personal absolute, which would be the grounds for intelligibility, then the intelligibility for their facts comes from an impersonal absolute. So what's a good reason for that? The answer is they don't have one. They simply adopt whatever they consider subconsciously as an unidentified, impersonal ultimate. It is arbitrary and without reason. And yet they maintain, I need a good reason to believe in God. You should give me a good reason to believe in God, they say. Well then, why do they believe in the not God position without reason? So they're not really neutral. God has given overwhelming sufficient reasons for his existence. Every fact indicates God. And when the atheist says not so, what they're saying is facts are not indicative of a personal absolute. Well then, how are facts indicative of an impersonal absolute? See, the fact of the matter is, God necessarily exists, because if you do not accept and affirm that God necessarily exists, and in virtue of his self-disclosure, then you can have no defense for intelligibility for anything. And yet the atheists think that they can be intelligible. And the reason why is because they confuse semantic apprehension for metaphysical intelligibility. Semantic apprehension means that you understand what I mean when I ate a sausage pizza. You understand that there's dough, there's sauce, there's cheese. But intelligibility means that dough, sauce, and cheese and meat actually mean something within its system. But you see, the atheist has no system to appeal to. So because of God's sovereignty and providence and his plan, facts are only facts, or particulars are only intelligible with respect to the ground of all being and his plan, without which no fact would be discernible or intelligible. So you can know that the God of the Bible is true. Once you understand the basic property and attribute set of the God of the Bible, then you know that intelligibility for particulars or facts is going to require that property set, and without that property set, there cannot be human intelligibility. Ask the atheist one question. Explain to me what model of reality that you are actually speaking from, and how does its properties and attributes on an ultimate or outer contextual level provide for the intelligibility of individual facts or particulars. You cannot have a fact without context. In the atheist denial of the Christian God and the mind and plan of God in creation, and that He is the ground and the reason for all existence and temporal facts and wisdom and knowledge, then you cannot know anything, in spite of the fact that you think you can. God has revealed His existence. He's given self-disclosure in natural revelation. All facts indicate that there is an eternal fundamental absolute, and because we have rational apprehension of it, therefore the absolute is rational, otherwise you're going to have a contradiction in terms that the irrational exudes or produces the rational. If you say anything out of your mouth, you're going to inevitably utter a putative fact, and if you're going to utter a punitive fact, it's going to be an implicit claim that that fact exists and means something with reference to some ultimate context. So, you see, it is impossible to deny Jesus Christ. You can say it in those words, but it cannot be explicated, it cannot be defended. Christianity is true due to the impossibility of its denial. You can't even say the sky is blue without acknowledging Jesus Christ. Atheists don't think they are in darkness. Jesus Christ actually saves us from a life of darkness, which is unintelligibility. There's an old hymn that goes, "I was blind, but now I can see." So, when somebody rejects Jesus Christ, who is the Lord of Lords, and the Alpha, and the Omega, and Maker, and the Creator, and the Sustainer of all things as the necessary precondition for all facts, then any stipulation of facts is just simply fantasy. They have no facts. It's darkness. Christians view all existing temporal facts as Jesus Christ created facts. That's how they interpret them. Atheists do not interpret dependent facts as Jesus Christ created facts, which is an alternative interpretation. The problem from the atheist worldview is there is no revelatory ultimate context that can tell them what the nature of facts and their interpretation can be, being that they are brute by necessity. Their non-revelatory impersonal context does not support a necessary revelation to negate Christ as origin point for created dependent sustained facts. Every word that comes forth out of their mouth will be without reference to any ultimate metaphysical context that can tell us the nature of facts, their meaning, how they can be intelligible, and why they exist. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." Those that are of Christ have personal, intimate relational knowledge to an ultimate revelatory context that tells us what the nature of facts are and how they can be interpreted. God makes Himself a necessity for truth, not only for the preconditions for the ability to reason, but also for facts to be intelligible and meaningful. There has to be an ultimate revelatory context, an origin point for all dependent facts that can make them intelligible to exegete to us what the true nature of reality is. That is Jesus Christ, the ultimate revelatory context, the unconditionally non-dependent, absolute necessary precondition for intelligibility, the creator, sustainer, and institutor of all dependent facts that without which you cannot know anything. So, in short summary, atheism is stupid and a waste of mental energy.